Hi, my name is Dr. Felucia. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the buzzwords or jargon or language that you tend to hear in spiritually abusive environments. So, one of the first things that you'll hear a lot in these types of environments is the word love. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, why would somebody or an environment that's so abusive talk about love so much? And the reason is, if you think about the word love or the concept of love, it can mean so many different things, right? I think there are actually four different types of love. And, when you think about a spiritually abusive environment, what are they there to do? They're there because they want to control you. They feel entitled to your time and your resources. However, these environments don't typically come out and tell you this is what they're after. And so, a way that they get to what they want is through manipulation. And one way is by using the concept of love to judge and to shame people into doing what they want, right? And so, many of you who have been in these types of environments have talked about how you've been accused at some point or another of not, being loving enough, right? Especially when you've brought up harm that's been done to you or others. And this is not uncommon. And so, when you go to any type of, spiritual environment or talk with people, pay attention to what they say, and not only what they say, but what they do. And again, I always say this, that you need what on this channel? You need nuance. You need to be able to understand nuanced terms and nuances in thinking. There's nothing wrong with the concept of love. However, I found that some people who talk a lot about a certain concept, who tend to be very toxic, think that they're talking about whatever they're doing is covering up for the fact that they're not doing it. And this is very true in spiritually abusive environments. They'll talk about the concept of love a lot. And so they'll say, let's say you bring up something that somebody did that was, abusive, or you had a problem with, or you'd like the leadership or whatever to address. They'll tell you, well, we just have to love people. We just have to love people where they're at, and we just need to show love, and God is love, or whatever the spiritual entity that they are worshiping will say is love, or that we just have to show love. And yeah, that's true, but how is that addressing this issue? Another way you can think about it too is that when they talk about love, it's often, they're kind of pressuring you to love other people, but you are equally as important. And so the treatment of other people, the treatment of leaders that's supposed to be good and positive also needs to extend to you as a person. So that's something I'd like for you to think about. The second thing that is a buzzword or jargon that you'll hear in these spiritually abusive environments is judging, right? Don't judge. So you'll hear that a lot. In fact, I think that's something that, a lot of you have talked about on this channel, either when we've had live streams or you've left me a comment. The concept of judgment. And I'm not going to go into the technicalities of what judging is. The problem is that in these spiritually abusive environments, they're looking at judging as a bad thing. And the term judge, or to judge somebody or something, is neutral, right? So you can look at something. Let's say let's say you're a judge at like a competition, right? Are you acting badly when you judge somebody's performance? You're not. It's not bad or it's not good. You are praising it. You are assigning some sort of value to it, right? And so in these types of environments, you'll notice that anytime you bring up anything that challenges their perception of either a favorite, it could be a leader, or it could be the leader's favorites, you're told not to judge. So, for instance, some of you have talked about bringing up something to your spiritual environment's leaders, right? You've blown the whistle on something. Maybe you see something that doesn't sit right with you. maybe you've been on the receiving end of unfair behavior. And so when you bring that up, instead of addressing the issue, they'll tell you, well, don't judge. We don't judge people here. Don't judge, don't judge, don't judge, right? And so what that does is it, in essence, puts you on the defensive. And then you're like, oh, I'm not a judgmental person. So for instance, let's say that you realize that somebody, let's say you gave money to something in your spiritual environment and they're supposed to be using the money for one thing and they're using it for something else. And they didn't tell you and they were supposed to tell you. That was the agreement. And so you say, look, I signed this agreement. This is what the money was supposed to go toward. It didn't go toward it. And then you are met with, you are being judgmental of this person. And so, do you see why that is manipulative, what they just did there? Because you are simply pointing out what happened. And because you're pointing out what happened and something was wrong or there's something that they didn't like, now they're saying, well, now you're judging this person and we don't judge people and you should stop being judgmental. So you'll hear that a lot in these types of environments. And oftentimes, people are accused of judging when they are telling the truth, right? They're and so they'll say, don't judge, you're being judgmental. If you bring up anything that you don't like or that makes you feel uncomfortable, even if you have an opinion on something, we're adults, everyone, and not even whether you're an adult or not, you are entitled to your opinion of whatever you want in life. So if you say, I don't like this type of music, I don't like the decoration or whatever, you're saying what you like or don't like, then you're told, oh, you're judging. Well, we don't judge here. And so when you hear lingo like that, the purpose of it is to shut you down, to get you to stop talking about what makes them feel uncomfortable or what makes them look bad or what puts them in a position that they're going to have to address something and that either makes them uncomfortable or they don't want to do it. Okay, so that is something else you'll hear. So I've talked about two things so far: love, judge. The third thing you're going to hear is about niceness, right? Be nice, be nice, be nice. And that is, that irritates me, to be honest, when I hear that, because being nice, not that there's anything wrong with being nice, but when you are hammered over the head with this injunction that you have to be a nice person, that is, in a sense, stripping you of your autonomy to agree. And I'm not saying we should be out there and be mean to people, but I want you to think about situations where niceness is, you feel that being nice is being pushed on you, right? It could be in a situation where you are pointing out something or you're expressing your own discomfort with something and you're told, oh, well, be nice, don't be mean. Now, of course, there are going to be people that just enjoy being mean. And I'm not saying people like that don't exist, but when you are told to be nice, it is often a way of tone policing you. It's a way of shutting things down. People who harp on this value of being nice are oftentimes much more concerned about the appearance of piety, well-being, well-meaning, instead of actually doing the hard work behind the scenes to make sure that kindness is happening, the goodness is happening, the protection is happening. And that's going to mean uncomfortable actions and uncomfortable conversations. Spiritually abusive environments really are not invested in this type of work and this type of action. And so that's why you'll hear a lot of surfacey things like love and not judging and being nice, being promoted at the expense of people doing the real hard work of listening to what other people's concerns are and doing something about it, and not just prioritizing the needs of leaders and just making everything look nice and happy. Okay, so I hope that that helps you. I'd also love to hear from you all. What are some of the other things that you hear in these types of environments? The buzzwords, the jargon that you hear either in spiritually abusive environments or among spiritually abusive people. I love to hear from you in the comment section. If you have not already, please subscribe, comment, share. You can go to my website, skillsetcounseling.com, and there you can book a free consultation with me. So I hope you have a wonderful day that is filled with peace. Bye-bye.